restripe in accordance with the plan, or you just want to leave it. It sounds like they're going to do it anyway. So unless you think it's a concern that they might not do it, I don't believe it's, I believe what's shown on the plan.
Restripe the parking lot?
Yeah. I'm just going to check for a quick second.
Thought it was on the plan.
It says existing asphalt pavement to remain, see note 9. Existing bollards and patch existing pavement, that's at the driveway. Let me see note 9. Existing concrete sidewalks and pavement on site to remain and shall be protected during construction. Paved area to be resealed and restriped after construction. So that's already in the plan. So you're saying all development as per plan, so that would get included. So I don't think you need to put that in as a separate condition, now that I just read that. There was a note on this about existing landscaping to remain, but you've already put in a condition that they follow the landscape plan that's been submitted, so that would, I believe, supersede that, this plan.
Yep.
That's everything.
Okay, let's see. A few people weighing in. Patrick Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michelle, can you just clarify for the required findings for both the fast food restaurant as well as the drive-through, we have to make findings about a screening plan and adequate screening. Are we permitted to grant the special permit and allow for that to be submitted after the fact per condition number 5? Or do we have to have that in order to make those required findings?
Let me just read that again. So the finding reads, this is taken right out of the ordinance. Landscaping and screening plans prepared by landscape architect shall be submitted. So that's, you're technically required to have that. I did ask for the landscaping and screening plan. They submitted the landscape plan. I think because you're adding a condition that specifies that they're going to submit the revised plan, if you're comfortable with that, I think, and they're committed to it, I think you'll be fine. You can consider that you're making that finding. If they were not agreeing to do it, they're going to have to meet this condition. It's a little, these findings that are written in here are a little, I don't want to say odd, but some of them seem more like submission requirements, not findings. I'm not sure about the text of that. It's a little off.
I mean, I assume that it would be required before the building commissioner issued a certificate of occupancy.
That's
and I'm
right.
fine with that. I would just recommend, given that it's explicit in the required findings in the regulation, that we put a relatively short leash on that particular condition. And I would defer to the building commissioner or to the petitioner as to when it's likely that they could get that as quickly as possible.
You mean to actually submit the plan?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Patrick? I couldn't hear you.
Sure. Just, I would, for condition number 5, I would ask that there be a relatively short timetable put on that for them to submit the screening plan or screening details so that that is ensured.
Okay, so you're not changing it, you just want it done sooner rather than later.
Correct, and that it be explicitly stated in the condition.
I think it's reasonable. Yeah.
I mean, you could say something like, you know, within 14 days of the granting, something like that. I think it's minimal what they have to add to the plan. They basically have to revise the landscape plan and show the fencing, show the detail, show what they're gonna be doing for screening. So, I mean, I think 14 days is reasonable, but it's up to you if you wanted to say 30 days. I understand what you're saying, and I will note that in the decision that you have not received the screening plan, however, you're including a condition that addresses it, specifically addresses it.
Are you okay with 30 days, Patrick?
Yeah, or 14 if Michelle thinks that that's reasonable. Given
What do you want?
like I said, I don't have a preference as to an exact time.
Okay. Michelle, why don't you do 30 days? Give it a little more time where it's summer and it could be more difficult getting staff out there.
Right, so this is just, they're gonna submit the plan.
Right.
Right.
But don't they have to get it revised?
Well, they have to take this plan and revise it, right?
Right.
They have to revise the landscape plan.
Right, so you're gonna have to go to someplace and get it done.
It's this group that did it,
Right.
this
Okay, I
GPI,
guess
Greenman
14
P.
days you can do? Okay, 14 days.
Yeah, I mean,
I had in my head that they were going out to
yeah.
get it
I
done.
think 14 is better. I don't think you should table it to get the plan.
Move on.
Yeah. Okay.
You all set, Patrick?
I am, thank you.
Okay, Eric Henry. Hold on a second. Eric Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Michelle, I was looking through the traffic study or the report from Taglia and stuff like that. Is it common for what comes before us is that on a Saturdays, there's just one measure that was stated? That's kind of like par for the course?
I believe that is, unless we specified otherwise. We did review the scope. They contacted us and they proposed a scope and we added to, I think we added a few other, items we wanted them to look at. So I know, I don't want to say it's common. I think it was approved by the city peer reviewer, so I would trust that.
And if it helps out at all, Eric, I've seen several of these, and I've seen it both ways, where they've done it on weekends, depending on the type of business and what is generating. I've seen just the midday one, and I've seen it doing it morning, midday, and afternoon on the weekend, and I've just seen it morning and afternoon. So, I mean, I think it's reasonable that a restaurant like this, you'd want to cover the lunch crowd on the weekend, but
When you say large crowd, Chair, you mean like, if I noted correctly, the hours of the study time measure was longer, maybe by an hour on the weekend? So is that what we're referring to, or is it also referring to longer and then from that time frame, 11 to 2, and then there's some later study time for evening traffic on the weekends? And this is also says Sundays. Actually, what I'm really confused about is I'm looking at the traffic volumes on number 4 in the traffic study, and all of the times they're saying AM, 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 and I'm losing my mind. I don't know what this means.
I'm sorry, are you referring to the actual traffic
no,
study?
he's looking at Ken's, I think. You're looking at Ken Petralia's report,
Correct.
right?
And on section 4, with traffic volumes, the traffic volumes were developed by conducting manual turning movements counts, vehicle classifications, and automatic turn movement counts. Counts were developed on weekdays from 4:40 a.m. to 1:32 a.m., Saturdays from 4:47 a.m. to 1:20 a.m., and Sundays from 4:48 to 1:18 a.m. I'm at a loss for these. Why was it in the AM that this has got to be a typo, I would assume.
No, they lay a thing down, and then they record it during a certain period. So they lay a pat down in the ground, and it was during those hours.
This is the hours that the recording devices was laid down, or these were the hours that the recording devices were actually measuring? Because it says from 2. So this was the time of measurement from 4:40 a.m. to 1:32 a.m.?
That's what it says, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I don't know if that is a
Well-
typo.
Hold on
I'm
a second.
definitely
Would the traffic, engineer please try to explain this for Mr. Henry?
Sure.
Thank
I
you.
didn't know if I could speak if it was public input wasn't being taken. So, It says in his comment letter there that counts were developed on weekdays from all these things. I'm not exactly sure what he means from that. The automatic traffic counts, the automatic turning movement counts, they were all day, the ATRs that were put down were all day, 24 hours. However, I think to ease your confusion about why did we look at Saturday midday and not Saturday night, right, for a restaurant?
And Saturday night.
And Saturday night, is because
Sunday too.
when we do traffic studies, we analyze the most traffic at a particular intersection. So it's not necessarily when the site is generating traffic, it's when the most traffic is going through that intersection. And the most traffic typically on roadways are during your commuting peak hours to and from work, which is AM, the hours that I had discussed from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., right, when people are going to work, and from 4 to 6 p.m. when people are returning from work or bringing their kids to soccer or whatever it may be, right? And then on a Saturday, the most traffic on the roadway on a Saturday is typically from 11 to 2 p.m. because of people grocery shopping and going here and going there. So just because the site may generate more traffic during, I'm making this up, but 6 p.m. on Saturday, it doesn't necessarily mean that the traffic on Broadway is the highest at 6 p.m. on a Saturday. So it is as Michelle had stated, we did clarify the scope before we move forward, and it's standard engineering practice to look at those peak hours, unless, of course, it is requested that we look at a midday peak during a weekday, or, as you just said, an AM or a PM on a weekend. But that was not requested of us. We did coordinate the scope.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, the data is there, it just was not reported that from from 4 to 6 or from 7 to 9 p.m. on Saturdays and whatever times on Sundays, that the data is there, you just simply, as a matter of course, do not present that.
We collect it,
Yes.
and we look at the highest number, the highest 1 hour.
And I'm still miffed by this AM stuff, but all right.
I think
I think
Ken's-
those are typos.
Yes, those are typos. I'm not quite sure why it says for 4:40 a.m. to 1:32 a.m. It should have, that's left over from something else, because we looked at AM, PM Saturday, which was coordinated ahead of time.
I could understand as the typo from AM to PM, and even if it was on a 24-hour clock, but the times here just, not only is the time of day, the times that you reference are not consistent. So thank you, but I'll yield. I think I'm done with the question. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Michelle, I also would like to say, with regards to number 8, I don't know if Patrick had alluded to that or not, but I'd like to amend that one to say instead of 3 times per day and be consistent with what the petitioner already put forth, change that to hourly if possible.
So perform litter control throughout the entire site hourly, daily.
Sounds
Daily,
good.
Hourly, daily.
I think that's pretty consistent with what the petitioner said.
Yeah, and I will just add, this part of the traffic study, the peer review, he was just summarizing what they did. So he reviewed the traffic study. I don't know why these are, and I didn't catch this earlier myself, why these times are in here. But the rest of it, in terms of the dates, that they counted the studies, the April 8th date, the April 10th date, the April 13th, those are in the study, and the hours are in the study. And this, what they studied was in accordance with the scope. I will note one other quick thing, if I may. Somebody brought up the car wash. As part of the scope of study, and as part of the study process, the city advises the petitioner of other, what they call background growth, other projects in the area that might impact traffic, that are under construction or in the planning, permitting stages. And that car wash was identified. So all the traffic expected to be generated from the car wash was included in this traffic study. And it's listed, it's in here. You all didn't get a copy of the traffic study because so many copies were submitted, and typically you're not reviewing the traffic studies, that's why we have the peer review, but that was taken into account. And actually, they had, in the initial study, they had missed one of the exit driveways, I believe it was for the car wash. We brought that to their attention, and they populated that as well for us, so that was taken into account. I wanted to mention that for your reference, since that came up. A couple other developments as well in the area were brought to their attention so that they could include that in their what they call build conditions, I believe.
Are you all set? Oh, okay, I thought you were looking something up to help Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. I was patiently waiting for, yeah. So, actually, just the last thing I would like to say on this matter is, you know, where I was just really confused by the traffic study and the peer review there. I think I'm missing something with the significance of the Broadway corridor study survey that was done. I think that seems to have been weighed heavily in the conversation and dialogue tonight. And, you know, something that Councilor Sika said that just kind of struck me when she said that she understands that this does not fit into what was outlined within this study. Multiple statements were made regarding the study by very talented elected officials about a private entity that can be made to comply with safety issues. While I would agree that, you know, we should try to, you know, get something or have some good stewardship with our corporate citizens, you know, the issues to me seems to be raised as it pertains to the safety of, with regards on and that battle is best fought, waged by our, these same talented people who brought this issue before us tonight, the city councilors. Because this is state property. I have to go back and read this study, but I would like to see, you know, that I'm just curious about really what it is with regards to trying to make this more compliant and in line with the Broadway study that the council would, what our petition, our citizens would like to see us do, that the council has not done or cannot do. And with that, I'll.
Is that it, Eric? You all set? Okay. To your comment of saying that it didn't apply to the Broadway corridor study, I reviewed the Broadway corridor study the last couple of days and looked at it, and I believe it does apply to what the recommendations were for the Broadway corridor study to a certain extent. Now, I don't expect this petitioner to fix from Taylor Street up to Melrose, up to a cannabis shop up in Melrose, right? But one of the things that we had recommended that was recommended in this was revitalizing this area that they call South Broadway. And I think taking it from, what we're hearing tonight, taking it from KFC National or KFC Corporate and bring it into a regional player that has other facilities. I haven't been to them. I don't tend to get out that neck of the woods as much anymore, into Boston and stuff, to see how their actual facilities are run. But I feel a lot better that they may not be an independent retailer, which I think the corridor study is looking for small independent retailers. But I think bringing it from KFC corporate down to a regional player that seems to be smaller and more conscientious and more focused on the product they deliver. And I think it does, to a large extent, help satisfy what the Broadway corridor framework plan was, or at least as I reviewed it. Now, it's a state highway, right? I mean, I've heard it said that there are no crosswalks on it. There are crosswalks on it. That far apart, it's dangerous, but there are crosswalks and people don't use them. I mean, I travel that road every day going to and from work, and countless times I see people just jetting across the street, not even looking. I mean, we had some stuff up Traffic Commission that had to do with the bike lane, the bike trail up by Eastern Ave and Broadway. And people testified at that they wouldn't walk the 30 feet from the bike lane down to the crosswalk, cross, and go up. They said that was inconvenient for them, and they didn't want to do that. So, I mean, I don't expect someone to walk from Burger King, KFC, or wherever on one side, up to Eastern Ave, cross over, then walk back to go to McDonald's or to go to wherever. I don't expect that. But I think there's more involved than just painting a crosswalk. I know there's studies that need to happen. Being a state road, we'd need to get Yem Lip, the city engineer, to weigh in on what can be done and what needs to happen, and what we can get our councilors to help sponsor and get moving along. I mean, several councilors spoke tonight in opposition to this because of the traffic and the safety and stuff. I think they should be also trying to help address a lot of this Broadway corridor. Councilor Winslow mentioned that it could be $20 million. You know, I don't know how Medford and them are getting tens of millions of dollar programs, and we're not. But, you know, maybe we need to explore our state or Washington delegations to see if we can't get more of that money. And Councilor Winslow cited Center Street, that Ed Markey helped get, Senator Markey helped get a couple $1 million program that will hopefully improve that whole Center Street area. But I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think it's broader than this one petition to help get some of the dramatic changes that are needed to help make that area safer and more friendly to the various mobilities and modes of transportation. So. Yep. You all set? Thanks. Diane Chuha.
Yeah, I think you touched on it a little bit, but my question and my concerns is with number 6, where they have to put in the stop signs for everywhere around them. I know that they, you know, the other counselor and one of the people that spoke against it was talking about maybe putting a fund together to do that. I mean, I don't know how how they could talk to Burger King and make them do any changes. I mean, I don't think it's on them. I think that's where I just can't see that. I could see me going to my competitor and saying to do that, and he'd tell me to take a hike. I don't think I could do that. But then doing the stop signs, that's a lot. And even if they're on the sidewalk, you still have to get city approval. So, and I know the Broadway Plaza has 2 ways in. Do you have to do 4? Because it's, you know, you gotta go one stop going in, one stop, you know, there's just quite a bit of stop signs. And what about the condo complex that's next door? Do they have a stop sign? I mean, it's like, where does it end? I mean, are they doing how many feet? You know, how many stop signs do they have to install? it could get pretty pricey. And even though it's on the sidewalk, I mean, I think that's more of a city thing that should maybe if they gave them some money towards it. I mean, I have no idea how much a stop sign costs, but the installation of it could be exorbitant too. And where do you put it? I just feel putting that on them is a little hard, but I understand that we need crosswalks and we need, you know, the maintenance of the sidewalks, and you do need those stop signs, but putting it all on them, you know, to do it blankly, where the Broadway Plaza, we had several of those places come before us, and this is the first time I heard that we needed stop signs. So why didn't we do it to them? You know, make them put up the stop signs. I know Burger King hasn't come before us, but, I mean, ordinance just changes all the time. Can't we just call Burger King and say, put up a stop sign? I mean, those are just my kind of questions or concerns. I mean, I don't know how to fix it, but I just think it's hard to make them do it to all of them. I mean, I can totally see it on their properties, but if the city sent something out and said, hey, we're looking for everybody to put in stop signs on their properties, it's a new ordinance that you have to have a stop sign on your driveway. I mean, that's.
No,
mean,
I
yeah,
tend to
it
agree with
just-
you that I don't know how we can require them to put stop signs on other people's property or in front of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I counted it at 4.
Yeah.
4 stop signs, because you wouldn't put a stop sign on an entrance. It would just be on the exits.
Okay, but doesn't the plaza have both ways, coming in and out, so?
Yeah, but you wouldn't
yeah,
stop them
yeah.
going in, you'd only do it going out. So a
And it's only on
couple
the Broadway
there,
side.
one at Burger King, and then 2 on their, or 1 on their own. So, but you're right, I mean, the number I don't think is as large, but I think, you know, I don't know, I mean,
It just,
Burger King may say, hey, if you're gonna pay for it, do what you want. If it doesn't impair our entrance or exit,
right, would help, it would help Burger King.
but I don't know.
but-
I'm not totally comfortable with that one, but,
Yeah, I mean, and just and even talking to Burger King, I mean, they can talk, but what if Burger King tells them to take a hike? You don't know. It's like, to put something in there, it's like, so, it's almost like before, when we said have a meeting, but if nothing comes of it, it's okay. To me, it's a useless thing to even put on there. It's like, yeah, you can't really enforce anything.
okay.
So, I mean, that's, number 6 to me just doesn't make sense. So, I
Okay.
don't know if maybe they could put, you know, they'll. Yeah, or just give I don't know, talk to somebody who's in charge and say, how much would it cost for 4 stop signs? And have, you know, what the cost would be, and maybe if they would agree to that, provided the numbers within reason, they would do it. I don't know, putting it on them, and especially the Burger King thing, I think we should take out. I
Okay.
yeah.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
Thank you. Eric McCush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am actually echoing a lot of what Diane just said. I think it's really far-reaching for us to require them to go to Burger King to fix their travel lane through their drive-through. I think it's a little far-reaching for us to require them to have Burger King fix their drive-through traffic problem. And, you know, having them put stop signs on their own property, in front of their own property, I'm fine with, but dealing with other people's property, I'm just not so comfortable with. And my other comment was about it being a state road, and we're limited in what we can actually do in terms of adding crosswalks, and, you know, that's a higher power than us. But
I agree. I think we can definitely ask the city engineer, at least at a minimum, put it to him and say, listen, this came up. There were a lot of concerns about safety, things like that. What's the process? Or what can we do? And if we can't do anything, what's the process to start some of these things moving forward? Because the reality is, if we don't at least initiate the process, nothing's gonna get done.
true.
You know, no one wants to pay for anything. No one wants to do anything that they don't absolutely have to. So, you know, maybe we can at least initiate the process and start gathering the right people together that may take this corridor study to the next step. Now, one piece I don't have in my corridor study was what they refer to as the implementation strategy. So I might have got a copy of this prior to that, and I've asked Michelle to get me one,
Yeah, I
moving
will.
forward.
I will send it to everybody, or print it for everybody, and we'll distribute that. I thought we had done that, but you may at one point have only received the summary part of it, yeah,
Whatever this is,
right,
from
right,
BSG.
right. They did
October
the
2020.
They did the study, right. But I will get you, I mean, the whole study is 50 pages long, so it's on the city website, unless maybe I sent you the link to the study. It's 55 pages long, actually. But I will make sure I do that, for those of you who don't have it.
Right.
Good. On number 6, can we just strike where it says, "in working with adjacent property owners, 61 Broadway, to address traffic issues"?
And then would you, I heard you discussing only requiring installation of the stop signs at both site drives? Is that the other part of that? You were saying, I mean, I think you should rewrite the whole condition, because otherwise it's referring back to a whole set of condition, requirements, recommendations.
If you want to change it just to their exit site, that's the only one that can really
Yeah,
control.
well, no, it's both site drives, both
What's that,
site
Ken?
drives.
Ken Antonucci?
Yeah, so you could say to the limits of their property. So they can't go beyond their own property.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should say install stop signs at both site drives.
But
That's
isn't
what you
that in
should
the
say.
recommendation?
Oh, yes, because they can come out that southerly one.
There's two exits, right.
There's
There's
one
two
direct
exits.
exit and then the entrance exit, yeah.
But it sounds like that's all you want to require.
Yes,
So condition 6 would be install stop signs at both site drives. You
yes.
don't want to do anything with the restriping or pavement markings?
Well, no, I think you need to leave 6, but just eliminate, like Eric said, the portion that says, "and working with the adjacent property owner." You'd want the entire statement in there.
So implement traffic and safety mitigation regarding installation of stop signs at both site
Well,
drives.
restriping pavement markings to
Period.
address traffic issues as specified and recommended by the city's peer review.
Well, those are that goes with the last part of it. There's
Right.
nothing else.
Yeah, so leave it there.
No, I don't think you should leave it there, because if you want them to address traffic issues specified, they need to work with the property owner, and they need to put up the stop sign. So I think it should say implement, it won't say all, it will say implement traffic and safety mitigation regarding installation of stop signs at both site drives and restriping pavement markings.
But don't we want them to also implement the other recommendations that Petralia made?
They were
That
to
are
work with
not-
a neighbor, and you don't want them to work with a
No,
neighbor.
there's the city, there was the striping on Broadway as well.
Right, the restriping pavement markings.
Right, but that's just in front of their place.
It's restriping pavement markings for the length of the project area,
Right.
that you
Right.
want them to do that. Right, okay.
Well, that-
So you
again,
don't
like-
want them to,
Like the petitioner said, that really doesn't make sense, just to stripe 150 feet of Broadway. I mean, it would be nice, but the whole strip should be striped. But it's not, but it shouldn't be on them to do it. So I guess remove what you're talking about and leave number 6, just talking about installing the stop signs on their own property at the exits.
I mean, I think the restriping is, it's just my opinion, but it's very, very low cost, and it's very dangerous because it's all faded and you can't see. Even, I mean, you're talking about reopening a drive-through.
But so for what limits? You're saying just in front of their
No,
property?
it's recommended for the length of the project area. And the length of the project area, I believe, is,
It's from Taylor to their entrance.
I could just
So
double check.
I would leave that in.
I believe it was tailored to the northern boundary of their property, but let me just double check.
No, I think you're right on that.
Yeah, because, I mean, they
Study area, Taylor Street to their exit driveway.
if
So
they can
it will be
coordinate
that section.
and if they can
I
coordinate
think
with the
it's worth it,
striper.
but it's, up to the board.
Okay, so Ken, it would be from Taylor Street to the northern end of that boundary.
Yes, as recommended. and they can coordinate that.
You have that, Michelle?
Yeah, so do you want to keep 6, any of it, or do you just want to write a new condition that says install?
As I heard it, it was implement safety mitigation regarding installation of stop signs at both site drives
Right, and,
and restriping pavement markings.
for the length of the
for the length of
project
the
area.
project.
And I'll put in parentheses Taylor Street to northern site drive.
And then that's it.
Well,
Okay.
or you could just say just leave the as specified and recommended by the city peer review.
It's probably better to put it in case that letter ever gets lost.
Yep.
Okay. So folks are okay with 6? Wait a second, Diane Chuha wants to weigh in. Okay. Are there any other comments? Any other questions for Michelle?
And I have this perform litter control throughout the site hourly, daily. Was that changed, or was that just proposed?
Well, Eric proposed it.
Okay,
I think hourly every day is excessive.
Hourly during operational hours?
I mean, if they want to do it hourly every day, if they want to do it more frequently, if Eric wants more than 3 times a day, I don't have a problem with that, but I think asking them to do it 13 times a day is a little excessive. But, Eric, is there another number you can live with rather than hourly, 6 times a day? Wait a second, let me.
Thank you, Chair. I think the proposal is a number that, most importantly, you know, irrespective of what I can live with, is a number that the petitioner can live with. He agreed, he said 1 hour, he does it on an hourly basis.
Okay.
But I think in the past, we've mandated every 4 hours or something like that, but if I'm not mistaken, when it came to Burger King, McDonald's, I'm sorry, that came before us, there was trash complaints from the neighbors, and these abutters were, residential abutters, I believe, to that McDonald's. I think we said something up to, we tightened it up to like 4 hours, every 4 hours of operation, but personally, I'm comfortable with with what the petitioner said he would do.
Okay, well, if, I guess we'll leave that one up to whoever makes the motion to define how many times per day you want the cleaning, the litter control to happen. So whoever makes the motion. Are there any other items? You all set, Michelle?
yeah, I was just looking, I mean, I think we typically say a minimum of 3 times. We might have said more in McDonald's, I can look up the decision if you want to know. And, well, what, the 2 outstanding things I still have are number 9. That was really a placeholder, so you can't adopt it as is.
See,
I
I
mean, you couldn't vote
think
on it
number
as
9
is.
should be removed because they didn't present any further improvements that they were going to do.
And you don't want to do anything with the safety improvements, crosswalks, anything like that? There
Not-
is a crosswalk in front of McDonald's.
Right, but not for this petitioner.
Okay.
I mean, this petitioner isn't the one doing it. I think as a takeaway for us is we need to follow up with Yem Flip and find out what's going on there. What can we do as a city and what can we do, or what do we have to initiate and get our councilors or the state legislators or the Washington DC crowd to help us with and help drive it through, whether it be through funding or whether it be through, it's mainly funding. It usually comes down to money.
Okay. So you're saying delete 9. So then the bike rack for 2 bicycles, minimum of 2 bicycles, would be the new 9, and then 10 would be maintain bollards at access to parking lot. It's with 61 Broadway. Then there were a couple other amendments throughout. Do you need me to review them?
Hold
or you
on,
know
we've
what
got
they
people
are?
weighing in here. Eric Henry.
Thank you, Chair. I think Patrick was, but,
No, you slipped in ahead of him.
okay, cool enough. I'll take my shot. Maybe we can just break the ice with this. Can we ask the petitioner if he's,
You can ask through the chair if you want to ask something of the petitioner. What would you like to ask him?
I would love to know whether or not the petitioner is amenable to keeping in standings with his other previous 52 properties of maintaining, being able to maintain these commitment on an hourly basis.
If you can come up, sir, I think he said he was going to do that, but if you can reconfirm that. Yeah, yes, sir, you.
When we first took over the stores in Boston, the first thing the municipal people, building inspector, health inspector, name an inspector, the first thing they said to us was, do this by this date or we will close you down. Right? So we met these folks, so we said, what do I have to do to stop you from saying that to me? Right? This is not, we work together to have a safe, healthy, a great restaurant. So to me, whether, it's 3 times a day or 4 hours a day or whatever the number is, our commitment is that we're gonna run a clean, litter-free site as best we can to do that. Now, we'll do everything we can to do hourly. We will. My guess is hourly it is a bit of a high hurdle, but we'll do our best to meet that. I can tell you we'll do our very best to do that. But the truth of the matter is, it's our interest to run a clean restaurant, litter-free. We want every one of you to tell your friends to go support this establishment with those local people working and all that stuff. I mean, we want to have that relationship with each and every one of you to come visit us, even those that don't go to Kentucky Fried Chicken very often. So, but anyway, so from our perspective, whatever you put down, we'll do our very best to meet that number. And we will do, we're gonna make, I hope, be a good citizen in your community. So whether it's 3 times a day or 4 hours a day or whatever, we'll do our very best to do that and get out there. So honestly, hourly is a tough hurdle, but whatever your number you put in there, we'll do our best to meet.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
your
Eric,
commitment.
are you all set?
I am, unless I need to
Thank you.
formalize the amendment to say hourly. I don't think somebody's gonna be out there checking you every hour, but I think we would get a lot of complaints if there was a lot of trash out there. And I don't think that's the objective for what you're trying to do, so.
So what does that mean?
It means that I would like to make an amendment to number 8 to say that they should clean on an hourly basis, on a daily basis.
Okay.
I did find the McDonald's decision, if anybody's interested. You did say every 4 hours. Perform litter control throughout entire site, a minimum of every 4 hours daily. That's what you said in McDonald's,
Thank you, Michelle.
just for your, if anybody.
I personally think that's more reasonable, and I will probably vote against it if the motion is hourly. But that's neither here nor there, just Patrick Hayes.
Thank you. Michelle, the car wash site, do they have to do any street mitigation?
Do they have to do any what?
Any mitigation, any mitigation for their operation?
Who, this petitioner?
Nope, the folks that are doing the car wash.
Oh, the
Oh,
car
the
wash.
car
I
wash.
didn't
The car
I
wash.
thought you said the corridor.
Sorry, the car wash.
They were allowed by right, so they didn't go before any boards for anything.
That's one of the biggest challenges that I see is, listening to everybody talk tonight, clearly safety is the biggest issue here. It's not our regional partners that are coming in. And as you said earlier, Chuck, we need help from the state, from locals. But I think there may be something that we can do locally with ordinances maybe, or, you know, some type of overlay, so that it's not just people that need a special permit that get sort of hammered on the burden of having to do all of these repairs, that it's all of the businesses that are along that stretch, because these improvements are gonna help everybody that, you know, that's along that stretch.
No, exactly, and that gets to the crux of the previous petition, when people were asking, geez, why didn't they do anything? They were one piece of a puzzle that had a lot of pieces, and the position was, why should we do everything when there are others in the same area? So, but I think it's the same thing. Why do we make this petition, who's gonna come and invest a lot of money, revitalize a property that's blighted, bring some revenue into the city, will hopefully provide a service that the city needs. You know, why are we gonna have them try to fix all of the Broadway corridor? I mean, I'm not sure that's realistic, but, you know, I think there is something,
Yeah, I think we have to come up with baby steps, you know, how we can do it
right?
so that it starts and everybody's carrying the burden, not just one, you know, one proponent. So.
Yep. Ken Antonucci.
Yeah, not to belabor it, but I do want to support, you know, what Patrick's saying and what you've already said, because, I mean, there are obviously issues out there, safety issues that we can't turn a blind eye to. I, for one, my wife pre-COVID took those, you know, walked that corridor and took the buses from those bus stops. And, you know, one of the bigger ones that somebody mentioned was how dark it is. It's amazing how dark it is from McDonald's to Broadway. But does that, from McDonald's to Eastern Ave, but does that fall on the fine people from KFC? No. You know, I think we do need to do the follow-up like you had suggested, Chair. You know, at least bring these concerns up, you know, to YEMLIP, find out who the authority in charge is, you know, because it is a complex issue where it is a state highway, the city, you know, there are certain things we can do, certain things the state has to do. And I think, you know, just the follow-up, you know, at least, you know, so we don't lose, you know, the value brought out tonight from all these concerns. Just follow up with it separately, but not as part of this special permit.
Okay, is that it, Ken? Yeah. Any other questions for Michelle? No other questions? Is there a motion? Patrick Fitzgerald.
I'd make a motion to grant the special permit with the 10 conditions as amended, specifically the amendments to condition number 5, which should read, submit revised landscape plan that includes screening details within 14 days. And condition number 8, perform litter control throughout the entire site at a minimum of every 4 hours. And the 2, eliminating initially recommended condition 9 and adding conditions 9 and 10 as amended by the planner this evening.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick's made a motion for the recommendation of staff with the revised conditions.
There was a couple that you didn't mention. There was a couple that you
Oh,
didn't
yes,
mention.
it's 6, yes.
Well, I also had recommended no outside storage of any kind is allowed excluding trash stored in gated dumpster enclosure. I don't know if you were okay with that.
Was that an added condition, or was it?
That was adding to 3. So it
Yes.
says no outside storage of any kind is allowed, but then it would say excluding trash stored in gated dumpster enclosure. Because
Yes,
we want them to allow that. And 5, you mentioned the 14 days, but I also recommended you add fencing detail. And then 6, you amended to read, implement traffic and safety mitigation regarding installation of stop signs at both site drives and
restriping pavement
the
markings
pavement
from,
markings for the project area, which is Taylor Street to the northern site drive. So I just wanted to mention those.
yes, those are
If you want to
included in my
include
motion.
those other amendments.
So you're all set, Patrick?
I am, thank you.
Okay, and then is the second, Ken Antonucci.
I'd like to second Patrick's motion.
you took, do you want me to read them, or you're all?
Yeah, why don't you read, if we could, all the conditions?
Okay, so one before you vote, so just so everybody knows, because we did go back and forth a few times. So one was all development shall be as per plans unless modified by these conditions. 2, modifications of the floor plans are allowed. 3, no outside storage of any kind is allowed, comma, excluding trash stored in gated dumpster enclosure. In dumpsters in gated enclosure, I guess it says. 4, repair, replace sidewalks, driveways, and perform necessary incidental work adjacent to the property to the satisfaction of the DPW director. 5, submit revised landscape plan that includes screening and fencing details within 14 days of granting the special permit. We want to say that, so they know what the 14 days is. Install and maintain landscaping and screening in accordance with plan. 6, implement traffic and safety mitigation regarding installation of stop signs at both site drives and restriping pavement markings for length of project area Taylor Street to northern site driveway. 7, the freestanding sign is allowed as to height and location. Sign faces and all other signs are subject to the sign design review ordinance. 8, perform litter control throughout the entire site every 4 hours daily is what Patrick's motion just was. 9, install bike rack on site for a minimum of 2 bicycles. 10, maintain bollards at access to parking lot with 61 Broadway. Or at 61 Broadway.
So that's the 10.
That was 10.
Okay, so everyone's all set with what we're voting on? Okay, let me try to get ahead of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You all set, Michelle?
Yeah. I just wanted to just double check one thing. Okay. Ken Antonucci,
Yes.
Diane Chuha,
Yes.
Patrick Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Tawadich Gabor Salasi,
Yes.
Patrick Hayes,
Yes.
Eric Henry,
Yeah.
Eric McCush,
Yes.
Henry Susi,
Yes.
Chuck Iovan.
Yes. Petition has been granted with condition. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, for anyone who didn't hear the message earlier, one of the items that we were going to hear, 320 State Highway, also known as 735 Broadway, we did not hear. That will be heard on August 25th, Wednesday, August 25th. We weren't able to hear the petition because it wasn't properly before us due to notification requirements that were not met. So if you're interested in 735 Broadway, that will be heard on August 25th. Thank you. Let's see. What else do we have? Yes, we got an A&R, and we need to check the A&R to make sure the right roads are written.
application is for 100 Bainbridge Street
Okay, it says street.
and 123
Is
Baird
that what the plan
Road.
says?
No, I'm gonna
Because
look
they
at the
wrote
plan.
Bainbridge
Yeah,
Road.
I'm gonna look at the plan. I put the agenda, so it might have been wrong. And this says Bainbridge Street, and Baird Road, so that
Okay.
was my typo on the
No,
agenda.
no, that's fine, and when I went there, 100 Bainbridge is right next to
Baird Road, right.
Baird Road, and it looks like they're
Right.
messing with that, but
So
I-
the engineer prepared the plan, and basically it's taking a portion of 100 Bainbridge Street, taking a portion of 123 Baird Road, 1,588 square feet, and giving it to 100 Bainbridge Street. So they will each have new lot area, so it's a lot line reconfiguration. So it's transferring from Baird Road to Bainbridge Street, this portion of land. Both properties will still have the required minimum lot area and will have the required frontage. So this is properly before you for an approval not required plan for your endorsement, so I would recommend that you endorse it.
Okay, is there a motion for this? Does anyone have any questions first on this? Is approval not required, that they have the lot area and everything, so,
They have the frontage, right?
and frontage. Henry Susi.
No.
Oh, was that, you were left from the vote? Ken Antonucci.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ANR for 123 Baird and 100 Bainbridge.
Thank you, and Eric McCush.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Opposed?
I missed that. Who did the
Nope,
motion?
Motion carries. Ken Antonucci made the motion, Eric McCush seconded it, and it passed unanimously.
Do you have a pen?
I have one in my bag, give me a second to get it. I'm just trying to
You
organize.
always bring your pen, so otherwise
No, that's fine, I have it in my bag, I just trying to figure out what goes to you and what goes to me. I found an old, set of plans from 495 in my bag that I wanted to return to you. Okay, so that's that. Let me sign. No, I got one. I just need to get. Man, it's hot in here. Thank you. And I already signed that thing for. Okay.
Now, before anybody leaves, two things. Okay. Yep.
Okay, so we got this one done. Do we want to first talk about our next meeting is August 11th? It's a joint hearing with the city council.
Yes. And I'm giving you, tonight, we're giving you information to prepare for that. So this is a letter from the mayor introducing the paper, which is for an inclusionary zoning ordinance, and then attached to the letter is the actual proposed zoning ordinance. You're also getting a summary of what was presented to the council regarding the feasibility study. That's this yellow handout. but you're also getting the full study, so that's the bound document. That's yours to keep forever. But bring it to the hearing in case anybody's referencing it and whatnot. I might have one extra copy or two, but these are your copies to keep and to please bring back August 11th. There's one other paper also, that's a, paper proposed to change a use regulation for off-site parking in Residence A. I didn't give you that, it's basically one page. There's nothing, no supporting documentation to give you, so I'll give you that probably by email. I don't have anything, this is the big paper though, this
Right.
is the big, gonna be the big discussion. So
And
that's
there-
August 11th.
And the reason why we have to have August 25th is because the anticipation is August 11th is going to go late enough that we won't have time to both do a contentious project and the ordinance committee. If you recall, the last time we talked about affordable housing, we were here at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we didn't think we could then add on 7:35 and have it be a reasonable draw on your time.
Yes, and I want to thank everybody for being willing to do the special meeting.
Yes, I
So
don't,
thank you, and for listening, responding to all my emails, trying to schedule the special meeting. So thank you for that, and also for being available. I have the materials for 735 Broadway, and I would like to give them out if people want them, so that you'll have a chance to look at them and review if you want to in advance. You're not required to review, but that way you'll have it if you want to review. But again, please bring the stuff back, because we don't have really, we only might have one or two extra copies. So, do you want everybody to just be given it, or if they want to take it?
I think they should get it and have a thing,
Okay.
because here's the thing. This is going to be, this case we heard tonight on steroids. All right? So what I would like to ask you, Michelle, too, is try to reach out to Yem, and before we meet on the 25th, at least get some sense of what we can do, you know, because, I mean, we got people up here making passionate pleas due to safety and stuff, and it's not falling on deaf ears, but I don't know that what we can do short of denying everything.
We're not the authority in charge, we can't do anything.
Right, so, microphone. What do we got? Patrick Hayes.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Patrick.
I just wanted to ask, was there anything additional that they submitted that, in the stuff that Michelle's gonna give us, or it's all online, right? It's all posted
Yeah, it should be
on the
online.
website, there's nothing new from
Shouldn't
that?
be.
Yeah,
Should-
okay.
Should all be online, so those of you who are
Right,
tech savvy and wanna do that.
Yeah, that's
fine.
right, that's why I already found all the documents, was online, so,
Yeah, so if you wanna do that, that's fine. If you don't,
yeah.
and you're more of a troglodyte like I am, you like hard paper.
I just downloaded all, you know, PDFs.
Yeah, but no, and I would also like to thank you all, because it is summertime. We're one of the few boards that don't take a break. When we don't have a case, we don't meet, but otherwise, we kind of plod right along through, and I want to thank you all for your commitment and your flexibility during the summer. Because, you know, this one came up out of left field, the fact that we couldn't hear it tonight, so.
I'm sorry, I missed, what was the question?
No, I was just thanking them for
Oh,
the
okay, no,
flexibility
I
and,
started to hear Pat ask about, was there additional materials?
you know, was additional materials that you're gonna give out that isn't online? I didn't think there was.
This should all be online, and then this is revised plans. I think this is online, that I'm not 100% sure. All the initial filing is. This should have been also put online. If it's not, we'll get them to put it online.
I found a lot of documents on, there's a bunch of stuff
There's a lot
there.
of documents, but I'm not sure if this revised set that we just got last week is online. So, it's up to you, you know, if people want to
Well,
take this stuff.
you know what we can do, Pat? If it's not online, you can pick it up the 11th.
Yeah, that's what I'll do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
It'll be
other
online
option.
before the 25th, so,
You can pick
Right.
it up the 11th, although, who is not, is everyone coming on the 11th? Okay, so everyone's coming on the 11th, so. actually, right, so there's somebody, I think one of these is for one of the associates, because they will be coming on the 25th, but not the 11th.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, do people want to do that instead of taking it now?
No, I'd like it now, because I need to work it in.
So this is the revised set, this is the original set, but I'm giving it to you because, this also has the traffic study, and some of this is the same. They didn't do like they also have color, I'm also giving you this because this is in color part of it that didn't change. I don't know why they didn't put this one in color, so, anyway. This is not, the elevations are in color in this, so. Just make sure you're looking at, current plans, so. No, this one was not ready, for June. Is that what you were talking about, why we didn't meet in June?
No.
Okay.
I was saying that when we don't have hearings, we don't meet.
Right.
But otherwise, we plod right through, we plod through the
Right.
summer and don't take a summer break like some of the other
No.
boards in
No,
town.
the June meeting, nothing
people.
was ready for hearing, so we couldn't do the hearing, so. We were gonna put this on, and they asked to be put on in July. So. Does anybody want this?
I want it, if you can peel me off a group.
No? Yes? Okay.
And just make sure you bring it with you, because we don't have a lot of options.
Ken is a yes. Thank you.
You said there's a revised,
The revised set of plans is the bound set.
the binder.
No, not the binder. The binder's a traffic study.
Revised, originally submitted.
No? Yes?
Revised is this.
That's
This, I think,
revised.
I'm finding,
And
I
you can
think you
see
can
the
find
date up top,
something
it
here.
says June 25th on it.
There's a lot of the same stuff, is what I'm assuming.
It's just that there's a couple things in here that elevations weren't revised and they're in color, so I'm gonna do that too. And then this is the whole traffic study. This group gave you the whole traffic study, even though it's been peer reviewed. Anybody else? Eric? No? No? Anybody? Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes?
I'd like one.
There you go, miss.
Thank you very much. So my legs are asleep.
Okay, so, is he?
And now, everybody here is confirmed for the 11th, is that right? Yes. Okay, thank you. So you
Okay,
have one more thing to do?
which, just want to let folks know, we still haven't found a volunteer to be the Community Preservation Commission, committee rep. We're starting to get asked by them who the person is that will be replacing them. So, I will give folks one last chance to contact Michelle or I. Otherwise, if we don't hear from you in the next couple of days, I'm gonna start reaching out to people. And we're gonna have to do something. We gotta have representation on that board, whether we do a rotation.
I was gonna say, can we just rotate?
Well,
I don't know if it's allowed, because I think you have to be.
you're supposed to be on it for, what, 2 years, right? 2 or 3 years. You know, I mean, that may be too much. We may have to go with, annual rotation.
If it's in the ordinance for 3, so, but, yeah, we figure it out.
If people don't, and they resign from it, we gotta put someone else on. This is one of those things where we have to provide, coverage, so, if you do wanna be the rep, give Michelle or I a call. Otherwise, I will start reaching out to people and asking, more directly. So we don't have an actual update other than the fact that we need a representative. Michelle, did you have anything else?
No, I did not, thank you.
And well, we can talk about it after, but you're gonna reach out to Yem.
I'm gonna reach out to Yem, and I'm also gonna send everybody the Broadway Corridor Study link.
Yes, that'd be good.
Which I don't know, I could've sworn I did, but maybe I didn't.
You might have. I just went through my
vaguely
planning board
remember,
stack.
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Yeah. Okay, if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Diane, seconded by Ken Antonucci. Enjoy enjoy the summer as much as you can, guys. Thank you very much. Paul Hammersley, thank you for hanging in there with us.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you just leave it, because we're gonna get that other card. You can leave it, thank
We
you.
have to actually
should
also
get the
thank
box
Counselor
over here.
O'Malley for the ice cold water. Nelson and Counselor O'Malley.
Yeah, enough parking.
What's that? Oh, he heard the front. That helped a lot with the, I was overheating there. Do they really? I don't know. Way too soon. Now, I don't know if we're still on with that.